Welcome back to the Pesky Report, episode 489, presented by Beyond the Monster. I'm Jordan, joined by Jack and Brian. We got the weekend crew back in full force for what was just a fantastic series of baseball from the Boston Red Sox. How you boys doing today? Nice to see both of you.
Yeah. First time I've been here for the new intro, which is fun and exciting.
Yeah, it's nice to meet Jack for the first time. I haven't seen him, all year. So, hey, Jack, how you doing? Nice to finally meet you.
It's been a minute, yeah. I mean, and the new intro isn't insanely loud, which is very helpful. It's nice to not have to throw my headphones when I hit record. And it's probably nice for the people listening to not have to turn their volume down to 7 on the or whatever they're listening on. If they're listening on the radio, or turn it down to 1 on the phone, whatever it may be. It must be nice. Yeah. So Red Sox just finished literally less than an hour ago, losing a series at home to the Toronto Blue Jays, who are surprisingly pretty good this year, which is annoying. And yeah, I mean, the series sucked. Jack got lucky, impulse buying tickets to game 2, so he got to have some fun, more fun than most of us got to have this weekend. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, we want to roll right into the greatness that was game 1 of the series.
I don't even remember game 1 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Jack and I were talking before we started recording, and I was like, Nate Eaton pitched in this game. If I had known, I would have made sure to tune in for the 9th inning. Yeah, I mean, we got a Sean Newcomb-esque stat line from Bello, which was fun. 6 innings, 3 earned, but 11 base runners. So it was definitely a step back as far as the trajectory of what's become Brayan Bello over the last month, 5-6 starts or so. But Jack, I'll get your thoughts on his start overall, and I guess really the last handful of outings from Bello, because I mean, leading into this start, there was pretty good cause for optimism that he pitched pretty well, even though the Jays have kind of had his number historically.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Bello, everyone wanted him to be Baby Pedro, because he's short and he's Dominican and he has a good changeup. And at this point, I think if people are still holding on to that, the dream feels dead. But can he be like a middle of the rotation arm on a competitive team? Yes. And you're going to have starts like this. At the end of the day, he limited the damage, even if he flirted with a lot worse. I can live with 6 innings, 3 runs, even if it's not sexy, as like a bad start, if you're going to be like a number 3, number 4 starter, which obviously expectations were higher when he was a prospect and when he first got called up. But also for the extension they have him on, you're getting surplus value so long as he's a big league pitcher, and he is a big league pitcher. So, I'm on my list of worries about this team, which increasingly grows every week. Bello is still far down the list. I have way bigger causes for concern than Brayan Bello. So if you're gonna have to solve a lot of the other things before, I'm nitpicking a mediocre Bello start.
You wouldn't rather have Quinn Priester?
I mean, I'd rather have Quinn Priester than Walker Buehler, but we'll get into that later.
We'll get there. Yeah, we'll definitely get there. Last 7 for Bello, his ERA is 2.93. So that's ever since his disaster class against the Atlanta Braves. He's gone at least 6 innings in his last 5. The walks crept up and the strikeouts were down, obviously, in this past start. But yeah, I mean, 6 innings, 3 earned. Nothing really to scoff at, even though it was a very hideous 6 innings, 3 earned. Brian, what were your thoughts on Bello?
Yeah, like Jack said, 6 innings, 3 runs. I'll take that. If Walker Buehler was doing that right now, he'd probably be over 500. You know what I mean? It was like, if 6 innings, 3 runs, I'll take that any day of the week. I don't expect the guy to be pitching 8, 9 innings, striking out 12. Like Jack said, he's not Pedro Martinez, but nobody is. And I think for the money in 2025, unfortunately, 6 innings, that's going to get you paid. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm just going to do the quick math here. You got 6 innings. Let's say he makes 33 starts. That's 200 innings. I mean, that's like a guy like, oh, only guys in Seattle do that, throw that many innings. And if he does that, that's money well spent. I mean, that's the guys you need, and then Crochet is the one that closes the deal, your number ones. But he's that perfect number 3 guy. I think he's kind of like what we want Bueller to be, maybe Bueller a little better, but we'll get into game 2 where Giolito is just, oh my God. I mean, I had him on the fantasy league and I dropped him because he was shit in the bed, and he's really turning it around. But yeah, Bayo's fine right now. I know originally earlier in the season, Bayo had some rough times. You talk about that Atlanta game, but he's really turning it around.
Yeah, I think what we failed to kind of realize with Bayo was like last year he started pretty slow as well, if I'm not mistaken. I know he had that good he was okay on opening day and he had a good start against I think it was Pittsburgh. But then when he came back off the IL, he was really bad for like 2 months. Like a 6 or 7 start period. He was really, really bad. And then he turned it on once he added his four seam fastball. And I know people are mad at him for throwing his changeup harder. And I know the Red Sox have wanted him to kind of throw it a little bit softer just to maybe get more drop on it. I have no idea what the deal is with that. But I mean, he's throwing his cutter a lot more. He's throwing the four seamer way more. I mean, again, last year at this time he wasn't even throwing it at all. Um, he's throwing a sweeper, he's throwing the slider. I mean, he's got like 6 pitches now. Well, 5 that he's throwing at least 8% of the time. Um, at least according to Fangraphs. I'm looking at a Savant page at the moment. And he's doing what you're paying him to do, and that's get strikeouts when they're available. He's not really walking a ton of guys. I mean, again, this last start really notwithstanding. I mean, 7.2 Ks per nine, 2.9 walks per nine over his last 7 starts. He's getting a lot of ground balls, 55% on that. He's keeping the ball in the ballpark when he's getting fly balls. I know the Giants start, again, notwithstanding there, gave up 2 in that start, but 2.93 ERA, average exit velo, 87.5 miles an hour. Like, he's been really good. And this being a bad start, like, this is what I love about him. Like, that's a bad start for him. Like, the ceiling of him be like he's not going to be 7 innings shut like against the Yankees every time out. But if a bad start for him is a quality start, people make careers going 6 innings, allowing 3 earned. I mean, Nick Pivetta had 4 or 5 years doing that for the Red Sox. So, yeah, I thought Bayo was gritty, which is a word that people love to throw around now. I mean, he's giving length, which is huge. Um, And again, you lose a game 9-0, he gives up any runs, he gets tagged with a loss. I'll take he was kind of a silver lining in what was an otherwise pretty pathetic game 1 performance for the Red Sox, which is kind of starting to get really annoying. Like, I don't know. I'm trying not to be so down every single time I hop on now, but it's like so hard not to be. Like, just win a damn series again, like just so I can feel something.
How about winning a fucking game on a Sunday?
Yeah.
It's like it rained 13 Saturdays in a row except for last week. They fucking lose every Sunday we do a podcast. Every goddamn can you imagine if this was a football podcast? We'd be the Cleveland Browns or some shit team. It's like, well, they lost again, but there was some positives. They didn't completely puke on their shoes.
Yeah, David Njoku had a great week of practice, but they lost on Sundays.
The walkthrough was great. They started off great. They were up at halftime. I mean, people would be like, why don't you just, yeah. But they're just going to win a game on a Sunday. I mean, is it too much to ask?
Apparently, especially days that started by Walker Buehler. I mean, he's been the catalyst of what's been a really rough stretch post Devers, because it's not like they're scoring a lot of runs. They weren't scoring a lot of runs in the last handful of games Raffy was with the team. They're still not scoring a lot of runs. It's not like the Giants have gone crazy since getting him. I think they're the same record as the Red Sox. I think they're 3-7. I don't know what the score is of their game right now in Chicago, but they're not exactly winning a lot of baseball either. They just Buehler's pitched 3 of those games that you've lost in your last 10, or the last 11 now at this point. So
are you asking for too much though, Jordan? Where you're like, gee, Nick, Eaton's not driving guys in, or Gonzalez isn't, going 4 for 5 in this game with 5 RBIs. Like, are we just are we so delusional that we're like, I don't understand why they're just not scoring more runs? Like, they have all this talent.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just got the Milliken tweeted a Buehler post game comment. He's like, I think I'm fighting for my spot in the league at this point, and kind of, probably not. I mean, somebody will give him a shot, but yeah, no. I don't. To answer your question, no, I don't think we're not asking for too much. I don't really think we're asking for anything out of a lot of these guys. Like, really, the guys that we're demanding production from are the guys you should be demanding production from, and that's Jarren Duran, who I mean, he was the only guy in the win that didn't get a hit. I know he reached base 3 times, so I don't want to pretend like he did nothing. Had a triple in game 3 of the series, but went 0 for game 1, if I'm not mistaken. He's not been hitting well at all in the month of June, which was the month that we kind of thought he was going to take off because that's the month he took off last year. It just hasn't happened for him. I mean, I don't think demanding production out of your rookies is a great thing. Expecting it to eventually happen is not crazy. I mean, they've been asking for way too much out of Narvaez all year, and for the most part, he's come through, but he's exceeded my expectations already. If he finished the year with 7 home runs and 25 runs batted in based on where I thought he'd be in March, I'd be thrilled. And he's already done it. It's June 29th. So,
right.
No, I don't think we're asking for a whole lot. It's just the team isn't very talented. And it's a shame.
Are they not talented or are they not mature? I mean, I think the ability is there. I just think that there's a learning curve. And I think the last show we did last week, we talked about this is like the most talented mid-level team that I can remember. I mean, it's like they've got a closer who throws over 100, who, only walks, 7%, and he's 14% for his career. He's basically been automatic. They've got probably, would you say Crochet is a top 5 pitcher in baseball right now? Like stuff-wise? Yeah.
Probably 2, probably top 2.
Yeah. So, like, okay, like not a lot of teams have that. Their outfield defense, pretty good, right? The game today, they made some pretty good plays. They got a pretty solid catcher, which most teams have a, all defensive catcher. Excuse me. But, like they've got some pieces. And I think with this team, it just, they're not as good as they are. They're not as bad as they are. And they're going to go on runs. They just haven't done that yet. I think they're going to get hot, and then we go, oh, everything's fine, and they're really not. But I don't think they're as bad as we think they are either.
Maybe they're not. Maybe not talented is the wrong word. They're not experienced enough. Like, a lot of guys are learning the major league game at the same time. I mean, Duran did I thought a fantastic interview after you sifted through the first 5 to 10 minutes of cringe of his Section 10 interview, of where he was like taking all these petty shots at people for like calling him out. Like, sorry, buddy, you've become the guy now. Like, it comes with the territory, unfortunately, whether it's fair or not. But he was like, where was I going with that? Oh, he's become like the veteran of the clubhouse, and that's like crazy to think about. Like, he's only got just over 3 years of service time in the major leagues, and he's like the leader of the team. Like, that's bad. That's bad. And that's on, I mean, obviously if Bregman were healthy, it's different. And, there's stories there, but like, it's not like he's killing the ball. I mean, he's had a good June, but yeah, I mean, they're not experienced enough. There's too many guys learning the game. And on top of that, like, they don't have anybody in AAA really that, like, they don't have, I mean, they already have burned their like semi-veteran AAA reinforcement, unless they want to call up Trace Thompson in Abraham Toro. Like, if you like, Meyer went on the bereavement list, and up comes Nick Sogard for the series. Like, that's just kind of where they're at right now. It's frustrating, and like, it was the same deal last year. They were very talented, a super young roster, and then they took off in June going into the All-Star break and then fell apart down the stretch. I don't know. It's just it's a tough watch right now though. Really tough watch.
Put Massa as the DH and Bregman's healthy. Do they score a couple more runs a game? Is that enough to do it, or is it just like wishful thinking? What do you think?
Who's pitching?
The league, what do you call it? The field, I guess. I don't know.
The average pitcher, yeah, I think adding Yoshida. I mean, if you add Yoshida, I mean, again, this is hypothetical because I don't know. Yoshida's been a slow starter each of his first 2 years in the league. But yeah, I mean, add Yoshida and Bregman, and you remove Hamilton / Sogard / Romy or / Toro, and I don't even know, somebody else from the lineup for Yoshida and Bregman. Like that's a big upgrade in 2 spots. So yeah, I think it would be enough. It's just now you have to survive till they come back, and I don't know when that is. I mean, Bregman supposedly after the All-Star break. Yoshida seems optimistic it could be before the All-Star break, but of course, because he could have probably come back in May.
Or March.
Or March. He could have started the year on the team, and we could have avoided this whole fiasco. Yeah, they just got to survive. Jack, what do you think as far as the talent level of this group?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because you see a lot of the pieces are good pieces, but there's not a lot of great pieces, is kind of the thing, especially right now where Meyer is still a work in progress, Anthony's still a work in progress. Cedon, even though he's playing the best baseball of his career, is, not a finished product. Even Willier, another guy who's been hot and cold, not a finished product, a good player, but like he's not, a guy who you can just go out and ask to carry your lineup. You had coming into the season, you had 2 guys you could realistically hope to carry your lineup for large stretches, which were Bregman and Devers. And you traded Devers and Bregman's hurt. And you could maybe hope Casas could be that, but with the injuries and his own inconsistency, you don't want to put that necessarily on Casas. And it's like, well, and even if you are including Casas as a third, you don't have him either. So what are you going to do at this point? It's like beyond asking, 3 weeks into his career, Roman Anthony to be a top 15 hitter in baseball, which is a completely unrealistic ask. So the lineup quality isn't there, and it's probably not going to be there this season, realistically. And I think, if you put Bregman at third and Meyer at second, and then trade Duran, Roman in left, Yoshida the DH, taking out the second base situation and Duran for Bregman and Yoshida, that'll make you better. But it doesn't, make me confident this is a team that's, a legit contender. But, we'll see what happens. I just hope they're willing to make those moves, because part of me is afraid that they're going to have a lot of trepidation about trading Duran at the moment, especially after Devers, just to even though, the Red Sox don't generally care what the fans care about, but also at the same time, they might be like, oh, the fans like Jarren, he was the All-Star MVP. If we trade them both, are people going to show up in the second half? And it's Fenway. People are going to show up. But, I do have that slight concern that they might just hold on to all these outfielders out of, cowardice. So
ineptness. They just don't know what to do with themselves. They're like, well, it's the strength of the team. Why trade? It's like, why trade him to San Diego for Michael King or somebody? That'd be dumb. Why would we ever do something to make our team better?
Jordan Hicks is the only guy who can help this team. And we got
Kyle Harrison.
He's getting called up though, right? Did you see that thing? Was that tweet today? Where I guess
at some point this week.
Well, no, didn't Kelly have an oblique? So he's getting.
Oh yeah.
So I think
he'll probably be up tomorrow.
Yeah. Right.
He's saving the season.
He might have to. Because Slayton's now on the 60-day, so he's now out for at least all of July, through the deadline. So you're not getting him back. I mean, not through the deadline. He's eligible to come back on the 28th of July. So
that's awful.
Yeah, so and Hendricks, I don't even know where. Apparently, he was physically at Fenway Park yesterday because they posted a picture of him, but I haven't seen any updates on him. I haven't
Can confirm. I
barely
saw
seen.
him like standing next to the bullpen pregame, so he
Yeah,
was
so-
there.
Wasn't he talking with Rich Hill in the stands? With
Rich
no?
Hill might. Rich Hill. The thing with Rich Hill in Kansas City is so funny. It's like he's not opting out of his deal, so the Royals technically like own his rights for the rest of the season. But they're like, if another team wants to sign him, like basically like he's on the practice squad, they're like, we won't stand in the way if you want to take Rich Hill off our hands. Breslow, his ears perked up when he heard that. I'm sure that they're going to find a way to get Rich Hill back here for the 50th time.
Every time
Yeah.
except the one time they should have got him.
What was the one time they should have got him right after he was great in 2015?
Like,
Yeah,
they should have never got rid of him. He basically went to the A's for free
yeah.
and
Yeah.
had like a good half a year. Like, I was in Pawtucket in 2015, and the guy was literally like walking on water. And they called him up for the month, and I won a fantasy league solely because Rich Hill, nobody was like even bother picking him up for the month of September. And I think his ERA was like 1.5 for the Red Sox. It was
He was
insane
so good
how
in
good he was.
2015.
And everybody was like, "Oh, he's 40. He's a sidearm pitcher. He's a reliever." I'm like, "No, I covered like 4 of the guy's starts. You cannot hit the guy," and he was putting up monster points. And I think then at the end of the season, the Red Sox were like, "We're going to take Justin Masterson instead or something crazy." And then he went to the A's, and then I think he had like a good half season. And
Yeah,
then
he got traded to the Dodgers.
Yeah, he was that stretch of Rich Hill was like perplexing how good he was. Like not just the Red Sox portion of it, but like 2015 to 2019, he was like a legitimate like number 2 starter as like a 36 through 40-year-old. Like he was good. Even when he came back to the Red Sox in 2022, other than like half of his Fenway starts, he was like pretty good in 2022 as well. Didn't he finish with like a 4.3 ERA? He had like a random like 12 strikeout game in September against the Rays. Like
Yeah,
he was a hysterical. Even last year when he was bad last year, but like when he came back for that like first relief appearance against Toronto, didn't he like strike out Vladdy? Like he like came out of the pen, punched out Varsho, like obliterated him, and then I think struck out Vladdy in the next inning. And I'm like, this dude is ageless. Like he's clearly
Jordan,
like
he got called up, Jordan, 2015. Okay, he had 10 strikeouts in 7 innings against Tampa, 10 strikeouts in 7 innings against Toronto, 10 strikeouts in 9 innings against Baltimore. And then he lost 2 games to the Yankees, but he only gave up 2 runs and struck out 8 guys in both of those games too. His ERA for the season was like 1.55. It was just I've never, and he was throwing well over 100 pitches. They just let him ride. They're like, "Go ahead, you can't blow your arm, but if you do, we're gonna release you." The guy was just nails.
he was so good. He was so good. It's so funny looking back at like the 2015 Red Sox because I remember because that was when I was young and naive, and now I'm old and 24. Um, and I thought that they were going to like make a run to the playoffs because they had some juju with Torey Lovello, and it's crazy though. Like that was like they had all the signs. It was very similar, I thought, to the 2024 team, where it's like they have all these signs of like all these future pieces here. Like they had Betts, Bradley, they were already up. Swihart at the time looked like a future piece, but he played well. Henry Owens looked good at the time. You had all these young guys come up, contribute. Travis Shaw, and then they just weren't good enough. Longa Vasquez too, I think. Or no, he was 2014. But you knew he was coming back in 2016. They struggled they struggled. They ended up finishing like 6 under 500. And then they went on that run from 16 to 18 where they won 3 division titles in a World Series. I really thought 2025 was going to be like 2016 reincarnate. And they were just going to not necessarily run through the American League, but I did not. Obviously, I didn't foresee Casas dying, Yoshida being sent to the glue factory, and then them trading Devers. But like, I expected a hell of a lot better than 41 and 44 through 85 games. So, maybe they're getting their shit out of the way. So post All-Star break, they come out roaring hot, as opposed to the last few years where they went into the break looking good and then coming out horribly. We'll see.
Is their spot is it there for the taking though, wildcard wise? I mean, do you see a path? I mean, do you see a
me
lot of roadblocks as far as like, oh, geez, there's no way they can beat some of these other teams ahead of them. I mean, I don't,
Well, okay, so right now they're tied with the Twins for 4th place out of the wild card. Like they're the number 4 team out of the wild card picture, tied with the Twins. They're chasing Seattle's in the 3rd spot, then the Angels, Rangers, and Cleveland. I don't think any of those 3 teams out of the playoff picture are good enough where if you have a good second half, you will have to worry about them. Seattle with their pitching, they're too good on the mound for me to really feel comfortable catching them. But again, they're only 42 and 40. So yeah, I would say it's there for the taking, but you got to go take it. Like it's not going to be given to them. Like last year the American League was trying to give the Red Sox like we saw last year what it looks like. Like you literally have to go take it. It's not going to be given to you. They have to go and win some games, and they just haven't, unfortunately. But yeah, it's there. It's definitely there. They're still only 2.5 out of a playoff spot, which is crazy. You can't be. I feel like you can't exceed 5 games when Bregman's back. Like you got to still be within 5 to like justify. Like my main concern, Jack mentioned, like keeping all these guys at cowardice. My other concern is on like the complete opposite side of the spectrum. It's like if you're not in the race, don't do some 2023 Angel shit and go buy because you're like, we have to buy because we got a guy like Bregman could opt out at the end of the year. It's like we got to make sure Bregman knows that we care about winning. So they go and trade all these guys, then they lose Bregman in free agency, and then they don't have Garcia and AAA. They don't have Blaze Jordan. They don't have, Early and Sandlin and all these other guys. That's my fear is they're so hell bent on buying at the deadline that they just do it anyway.
can you get an extension for Bregman before like, hey, listen, we're going to throw you the bag? Or is he smart enough to be like, you know what? Let's just wait and make sure you guys aren't a dumpster fire like I really think you are. And all my friends tell me that you guys really are. And Alex Cora was like, listen. I just need you to come to the team. We're fucking with them for a year. Watch. We're going to totally screw the Red Sox. And then we can go back to Houston or we can do something. But it's just kind of like exactly. Like, it's just like, I still can't believe that Alex Bregman was like, yeah, all right, yeah, I'll go to the Red Sox. That's cool. Yeah, that they they get a great future. They're gonna put up titles. They're gonna like I'd love to hear the pitch that was like I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how that works. And didn't they ask him about Devers and he said it's above his pay grade or something? Where he's like, I forget what the quote was, but like, oh well, it's a great player, one of the smartest guys I've ever worked with. Blah blah blah, but it's above my pay grade. I mean, that's the biggest like non-answer you could possibly non-diplomatic answer you could probably give, right?
Yeah, I mean, very very media trained answer. Like you don't shit on the guy and then you're like, not my call.
He didn't go to the Jarren Duran PR school of public comments, that's for sure.
Yeah, thankfully. Thank God. I couldn't help but like when they talked to Jarren, not on Section 10, but after the fact, and he was like, I said a lot of cuss words. There were a couple more that I think I'll save for next time. And I'm like, don't say those couple more, Jarren. Please. I'm like, just keep them in the drafts, please. Like, don't say them. I'm begging you. Please don't. I don't even want to know what they were.
Who's his agent, Jordan? Does he have a guy? Does he got a team? He's not a Boris guy, right?
That is a great question. There's no way he's a Boris guy.
Yeah. I love to know what the team is. If it's like, is it something like ridiculous? Like Trump will say something and he's got like 4 interns tweeting for him, so like he can send multiple tweets, or is it like Duran doing it himself? Or I mean, I think that he's in a financial situation now where he can have like people around and be like, don't say this, don't say that. I mean, a part of his appeal and part of his brand is to say whatever's on his mind. I get that. But just, I think that you want to do less harm than good if possible. I think that's his idea and that's what he's trying to do. But sometimes he gets carried away.
Baseball Reference does not have an agent listed for Jarren Duran.
So he represents himself. Okay, that explains a lot. Okay.
It's like Ted Bundy.
That's too on the nose there. Yeah. Red Sox lose game 1 9-0.
Maybe he has Tommy DeVito as agent.
Maybe. Not his PR team, though. Definitely not his PR team. Never seen somebody worse be so loved. Pablo Reyes, maybe. Nah, Pablo was good here in 23. But
That Grand
yeah.
Slam is a locked in forever memory.
That is like on the Mount Rushmore of funniest home runs I've ever witnessed. Well, I wasn't there for it, but like ever
I
watched
was, and
happen.
it was so cool.
Like just the Red Sox having that 3-year run of just absolute bums hitting a walk-off grand slam. Shaw in 2021, Franchi in 2022, and then Pablo Reyes in 2023. Just cinema.
The
And then we
Chaim
didn't get
juice.
any. What?
That was Chaim's greatest strength, is he knew how to get walk-off hitters.
He knew how to get the randomest motherfucker to hit a walk-off grand slam. We should have had him loaned to the Red Sox from St. Louis for like 3 weeks last year, just so we can get some rando off the street to hit a walk-off grand slam, just so the Sox could hit a grand slam in 2024. And then Breslow could promptly trade him like he did to the guy that hit a grand slam this year. 2 of them this year. Anyway, I promise I'll let that go at some point. Probably not for the rest of the season, but we'll try. So, game 2. Jack, you wanna lead here since you were there for it?
Yeah, this was fun. I basically morning I woke up and I was like, you know what? I want to go to the game today. So I got some tickets, and then they decided to win by 100, which I appreciated. I mean, Giolito looked really good. I mean, it seemed I've been the Giolito truther on here the whole time of like, I'm not that worried. He's fine. And we lost Brian.
Nope, we lost. I was trying to put the camera just on you, and I accidentally put it just on myself.
I was like, oh no. But yeah, I mean, Giolito looked good. Chris Murphy was okay. And you had maybe the most woke Red Sox pitching in a game ever, perhaps, going just Giolito and Murphy. So that was unique. Everybody Romy hit that nuke. That was crazy. Got to see Tyler Heineman drill Jarren. It was a good time, and it was nice seeing a game where they just kicked a team's teeth in, because they haven't done that really since the Devers trade. So it's nice to see that they will do that at least once. Will they continue to do it? I'm skeptical, but it was fun. I had a good time. No complaints with that game.
Do you think it's time we can declare Lucas Giolito back? I mean, over his last 7, his ERA is 2.35, and that's including his absolute start of pain and agony against the Los Angeles Angels, where he gave him 7 in an inning and 2/3. Is it time to declare him back?
Yeah, I don't think he's like an ace or anything by any means, but can he be a number 3? Maybe a low end number 2? Yeah. And with the way this rotation is right now, like really the only 3 guys I have legitimate confidence in are Crochet, Giolito, and Bello. Beyond that, it's really like throwing my hand. I mean, once Dobbins is back, if Dobbins is back, at least there's something there. But like, I will get to Buehler. Fitz is very much a question mark at the moment, though I'm hopeful he'll get it together. And it's like, you need arms at this point. Like, the starting pitching is really the Achilles heel of this team among all the other problems. But hopefully Giolito can just settle in. And if you do fall out of it, that would be an attractive trade piece. And if you aren't out of it, which I'm optimistic they won't be, he's a guy who can contribute innings for you.
Jordan, let's say you make a wild card somehow, because we're smoking angel dust. I don't know. Let's just say it happens, okay? If you got Crochet and you got Giolito and you got Bello, is that enough? Once you're in the playoffs, you got 3 decent. You got 1 stud and you got 2 guys that are gonna go 6 and 3. If you can't score at least 3 runs, you probably win the crochet start, in every series you're going to play, hopefully, right? That's the goal. And then you go 50-50 with the other two. You're going to win 60% of the games. That should be enough to have a pulse, right?
Yeah, I'm looking. So to steal a phrase from Section 10, 2024, they just got to play 6 seed baseball.
Right.
So like, just get in, and you'll see what happens. I mean, at this point, the way the last handful of seasons have gone, just get in, and I will happily call it a successful season. You made the playoffs, especially trading Devers and still making the playoffs. Um, yeah, I think it is only because. So I'm looking at the standings. I'm not expecting the Tigers to be the 1 seed at the end of the year. It like right now they're only 2 games up on the Astros. Hunter Brown versus Garrett Crochet would be an unreal first series if you got to the LDS. Granted, you play that first round. Who you face? The Rays? No, you face the Yankees. Ooh, yeah, no, it's definitely enough. The Yankees are bitch made. The Red Sox would absolutely have their way in the Bronx with the Yankees. Now, as far as the LDS is concerned, you're facing either Detroit or Houston. I don't really have a lot of faith in Houston's pitching staff to get them very far in the playoffs. I know they have Framber and Hunter Brown's just deadly. But beyond that, not really super confident. And the Tigers, like
You're not
Skubal
confident
again.
in old friend Brandon Walter?
No, no, I'm not. I can't say I am. Has he been starting for them?
Yes, he has been.
I knew he was in the majors. I knew he was having a good year. He's actually been starting Major League Baseball games
For the Houston Astros, yeah.
for a team that is the number 2 seed in the American League. That is crazy. What are his numbers looking like? I gotta. He's starting today for them? No. 3.34 ERA and 5 starts. He's been giving them 6 innings a start. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Dude, they released him because they didn't like where he was at, like, medically, right? They were like, "Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're just gonna get rid of your ass," and then
Yeah, they
naturally
thought he was basically going to like break down like Sale because they looked, they had a lot of similarities. I mean, not performance wise in the major league level, but just body type and then he was for or very early on in his minor league career, wasn't he like ridiculously good, like
Yeah.
almost like Henry Owens good for like a little bit, and then all of a sudden, what did he hit? It was a AA, and then he just hit the wall, right? And then it was like it just didn't translate. He was throwing like 89, 90. And then he came back 1 year, and all of a sudden he was throwing like 95, and it was just guys in like high A just couldn't touch him. And I think he did okay at AA, and then he got hurt, and then I don't know what happened after that.
Yeah, so in 2 starts at AAA in 2022, he had an 8.22 ERA. In 2023, in 21 outings, he had a 4.6. So it looks like the wall really hit him in AAA. And then he debuted in 2023 and had a 6.26 ERA across 23 innings. Got hurt, and then they cut him. And yeah, no, he's just been ridiculous for the Astros. That's depressing.
Well, Jordan, if
That
you
is
look at his stats,
depressing.
if you look at his stats, what he's doing is he cut down his walks. When he got
Big time.
higher up, he was walking guys like he still gives up a shit ton of home runs. He's like Giolito. He gives up at least one to start, usually 2. You look at like the last 4 or 5 games he's pitched for Houston, but he's not walking guys. So he gives up the home run, but he's not like walking 2 guys or hitting a guy and then giving up the home run. I think he gave up 7 runs in like his second to last game, but the game before the last game he pitched on the 27th, I mean, he only gave up 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, and no walks. But if you look at the other game, 0 walks, 1 walk, 0 walks, 0 walks, 1 walk. I think that's his biggest thing is the control.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like he's been good. Quinn Priester's been good. And we got to watch Walker Buehler pitch in the year of our Lord 2025. I'm not gonna play Monday morning quarterback on not having Brandon Walter and Quinn Priester, but it's just depressing. Like I don't know. I was talking to my. Go ahead.
It sucks seeing how, especially on the pitching side of things, everybody is better the second they get out of here. And that can't be a coincidence. Besides Aroldis Chapman, who seemingly needed to come here. But beyond that, it's like everybody gets exponentially better the second they get out of Boston. Even if they already were good, like Chris Sale or Nathan Eovaldi, they just bring it up a notch once they're gone. And then you see what Pavetta's been doing. You see Priester.
And if you just say the word Boston, like I think someone texted Sale the word Boston and he got hurt. I think
Yeah, like
text, like it says like
read
Boston.
that,
He's like,
that
most of
tweet.
the year. Yeah.
He saw that Duran tweet and the ribs just imploded.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. I mean, you want a sign that there's something wrong with. I mean, maybe it's the dirty water of Boston knee slap, but like Dave Bush was given back to Nathan Eovaldi in Texas, and he's
Yeah.
even better than he was the last 2 years for the Rangers. So like, there's just something wrong with Boston. I mean, Texas throws the hell out of the ball too. I mean, look at what DeGrom's doing for the Rangers. Like everyone, all these people on Twitter are like, the Red Sox should trade for DeGrom. Bro, the Rangers are higher up than the Red Sox in the standings. Why would they
Yeah,
trade
he's not a
DeGrom
Red
with
Sox.
the Red Sox? No, and he's making $40 million a year the next 2 years, and he's
Yeah,
37
like
years old.
he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, with a list of injuries that rivals Chris Sale at this point, especially in recent years. But yeah, no, every single pitcher you just mentioned leaves Boston and just immediately ridiculous. Like that, it's like the one thing about Walker Buehler. I'm like, I'm afraid the Red Sox will cut him, the Rays will scoop him up. Boom, he just
No, he
beats the
goes right back
shit
to
out
the
of you.
Dodgers.
Or he goes
He goes
back to
right
the
back to the
Dodgers. The Dodgers, we do like a reverse James Paxton.
Yeah.
It's like, we're gonna cut him and we'll trade him to you for like some dartboard shot in like the DSL, and we'll call it good. I just hope for Bueller's sake he doesn't meet the same fate as Paxton. But
Jordan, is your mind made up that Bailey is not some savant baseball coach? He's good and he's a major league, pitching coach, but like he's not like they need to really stop getting these reclamation, these lottery ticket, projects and be like, we're going to make this guy fantastic. I mean, don't get me wrong. Chapman, I think, has worked good. I think Bayo's been better. Giolito, I think he's pitched a lot better than I thought he was going to pitch. Crochet has basically been Crochet, so I don't really know if you give him any credit for that. But he's good, but I don't think he's this guy who's just going to completely revolutionize, pitching. I think was it last year, like the first 2 months we had the best pitching historically, like in all of baseball, and then we just kind of basically fell on our face. But like he's good, but he doesn't hurt the team. But I don't think he's not the savior of a pitching coach.
so it's tough, and I think like you look across the league, every single team has like their exceptions. Like I look at the team that they have right now, and it's like Giolito's been awesome. And I do give him some credit for Crochet, not because Crochet's been more dominant in a sense, like because he was just blowing guys away last year in Chicago, striking out like 8 guys over 4 innings or like 10 over 7. He's only hit 10 4 times this year. But like a lot can be said about getting him deeper into starts and still not really like sacrificing much. Like, yeah, he's not striking guys out as frequently, but he's not really walking guys. He's getting a ton of ground balls. And he's getting you 6-7 innings into a start every single time out. I do give him credit for that. The drop and arm slot, I don't know if that was a Bailey suggestion, Bailey tweak, if that was Crochet, if that was some combination of both.
Some guy on Twitter probably just sent him a text.
Yes, some guy on Twitter was like, "Drop your arm slot like 3 degrees and watch what happens." No, I think Bailey's good. I think people were quick to jump on him because the pitching was bad, but like, I mean, I just feel like you give the guy, like when he got Carlos Rodon, like Rodon was good with the White Sox and then had like a bad year where he was hurt and then was great with the Giants. And now you see he's great again with the Yankees. Um, Kevin Gausman, highly touted prospect, had like one bad year and then a good year and then was great with the Giants. So like it looks like really kind of similar to like quarterbacks where we talk about their year 3 jump. It's like year 2 jump with Bailey. It's like you get that first year, there's like some signs of things to come, a lot of struggles, and then year 2, it's like this is where it pops. We're not gonna get there with Walker Buehler. That's just not going to happen. I don't even want it to. I don't even want to like. I don't want to watch him pitch again. Like I can't do it. It's so painful. I love Walker Buehler. Every time he takes the mound for my team, I hate him a little bit. And I hate that because I loved Walker Buehler with the Dodgers. I was ecstatic when they signed him. It's just costing you games at this point, and you can't afford to fall too far out of the race. You can't be out of it by the time Bregman and Yoshida are back. And Bueller's a huge reason you are out of it now. I don't know who would replace him. Is it? I mean, Kyle Harrison probably. Or Hauk. I don't know if Hauk's any better. Probably not.
No. He was dog shit today. He just
Yeah.
needs to go on the 60-day IL for personal reasons. Do some mescaline or something, in the desert, and to go find himself. He needs to
Some
face his
oxalates.
trauma head on, and then kind of like post traumatic stress curveball disorder or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, but we got to figure out something with that guy because he's capable. He can do it. We've seen it. It's just not happening now. And I mean, to put him back now, you want him to go on a positive. If he comes back to the majors, he's just going to suck, and then it's going to be mental, and then it's just never going to come together. I mean, long term, he's probably a bullpen guy. Maybe realistically, that's kind of how I see him with the other talent they have. Let him go in the minors, maybe convert to a reliever, do something, and just have some type of so a little bit of success. And then he comes to Fort Myers, and I don't know, then maybe he can find home plate. Because his control is just a mess right now, and I think his mechanics are probably all screwed up too. I still think he's not 100%. They're kind of maybe not rushing him back, but I think that there's something going on there that we're not seeing and we're not hearing. Not to ever throw the medical team of the Red Sox under the bus. I would never do anything like that.
They've never given a reason for you to do that either.
No, they did not have a doctor in the 80s who was also part owner of the team who got sued multiple times by players for getting released, with horrible, debilitating conditions. But just let him hang out in the minors, do his thing, and then the minor league season ends a month before the major league season, and then just kind of let it run its course. I just don't think he's going to add anything to the team.
Yeah, it almost feels like they're letting him just kind of go out there and just see if he can find something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if he's clearly very hurt, it's irresponsible to let him pitch. But if he needs to go see himself get his ass kicked again, for him to be like, you know what, 2025 is just not my year. Maybe that's where we're at, and it's give him another rehab start and then just shut him down. Because at this point, it's really, really bad. I feel bad for the guy because he's really struggled with keeping the ball in the ballpark, missing bats. I think he only had 5 whiffs today in another inning and 2/3, but he threw or 2 2/3, but he threw a million pitches again. Gave up a bomb to Spencer Jones.
Yep.
It's been tough sledding for Tanner Houck, and it sucks because this was a huge year for him.
Yeah, the swing and miss stuff just isn't there anymore right now. I'm not saying he doesn't have it, but just, take some time off, get your head right, and then come into spring training and come dominate. He's capable. He can do it. And I think they'll have enough arms, next year. And, I mean, they'll have – if Buehler's gone, what's that, 18, 19 million, then you've got some of the Devers money. You can go get another guy, and then they're not going to keep – I just don't see them keeping Duran, and I see that as another pitcher. So those two assets, however you want to in your brain, translate it into common sense, that's going to be 2 guys in the starting rotation, and I think you're going to be okay.
I think what kind of sucks about it though is a lot of 2026's rotation. I feel is already in house too, because obviously there's Crochet. You have Houck if he's not recovering from elbow surgery, which I still feel is probably an inevitability at this point. But Kyle Harrison, you've got him in there. Patrick Sandoval will be back. I know this was very clearly sign him for the rehab year, and then you'll unleash him in 2026. Maybe you get him in for some relief in 2025. Bello, obviously, there's 4. Cutter Crawford, I'm assuming, won't be out all of next year as well after his wrist surgery. We'll see. There's 5. Obviously, some of those Fitz, Dobbins, there's 7. David Sandlin probably ends up in AAA at some point. Connolly early. Peyton Tolley is speed running the minor leagues. So who knows when he factors into the equation. I'm not going to count all the way up to 10 with them. I mean, Jordan Hicks is probably
please do, Jordan, because as you saw this season, they need it. Remember when we had so much starting pitching, we were trading guys? Remember that?
Yeah.
And it was we don't need starting pitching. We're fine. We'll trade this guy and that guy. We've got 12 starters. It was about as stupid as what was it? I'm the ace t-shirts, back in the day. It was oh yeah, I have too much starting pitching. It's just zip it. Baseball gods are listening.
Yeah, making I'm the number 2 starter t-shirt this year because everybody they have an ace, and
I pitch quality starts.
Yeah. Like Jack mentioned that he thinks that he's like Giolito could be a number 3 or like a low end number 2. I feel like we say that about every motherfucker in this rotation other than Garrett Crochet. It's like
Yeah.
Bello's not a 2, but he could be a really good number 3. When Walker Buehler was going well, it's
Bale's
like
the
he's
kind
probably
of
not
guy,
a 2,
though.
but he could be a 3.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Bale's the kind of guy where he's a number 3, and then you have a playoff game, and then he pitches like a 9-inning out of his ass, like amazing game, and that's what happens in the playoffs. You get these guys who are decent, and then they either shit the bed and get lit up in the second or third inning. Like a guy like Clayton Kershaw, who just can't pitch in the playoffs for what he's just allergic to the fucking playoff games. Or you've got guys who are just like Nathan Eovaldi. He's like, all right, I've got the biggest balls in the room. Give me the ball. Like, just certain guys just shine.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not really looking forward to, but also like kind of intrigued by the idea of signing Zach Gallen in the offseason. But I just know because he's having such a dog shit year, like he is going to be so high up on the totem pole for Red Sox free agent targets. Like we're going to be hearing about him like November 10th. They're going to be like the Red Sox love Zach Gallen. They cannot wait to get him into the building. And it's like
what's your biggest guys as far as the offseason, but when the season, what was your biggest what if that like you were pissed off? Was it Max Fried, or what was the deal that they didn't do and we got Buehler? Who was the guy? Max Fried's my guy. That I figured if they got him, that would have been like, I mean, obviously Soto, but I don't. Yeah, they were in it, but I never really, even if they were like, yeah, they had a good offer, they had a good present. Like, Fried was my guy.
Made a fantastic third place offer to Juan Soto. I don't think they were like not seriously involved, but I think they knew they weren't going to get him, so they were like, we'll just make sure that we're like definitely third. You said yours was Nate, Jack.
Yeah, at the time, yeah. Obviously, in hindsight, like Fried would have been so perfect, but at the time, it was Nate for sure, especially for the contract he got.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, I don't really know who mine was because I was still looking at the top of the list, like for those guys. Like I wasn't really looking towards the middle, like the 2, 3, 4 starter caliber arms. Like for me, like cause my initial offseason was I wanted Blake Snell and Garrett Crochet. There's 2 guys that just destroy guys in the zone. Obviously, Snell got hurt this year because it's an odd year.
No, he never gets hurt.
Yeah, never gets hurt. Never has short starts.
Only guy to was it 2 Cy Youngs in each league. I mean, that's come on. I saw that's just. I mean, throw the bag at him.
It's crazy how accolades wise he's going to have a very enticing Hall of Fame case, but he's going to have like 600 innings when his career's over. He's going to have like 4 Cy Youngs, like 750 innings. It'd be crazy.
He'll be doing telecommercials, for like timeshares and.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, my guys were at the top. It was, Fried, Snell, Burns, Crochet. And yeah, I mean, they got Crochet and like, but as far as like down towards the middle of the rotation, Nate would have been a nice guy to have in hindsight. I actually really wanted Walker Buehler though, so I can't even really be like there was another guy I wanted because once they got Crochet and it looked like they really weren't going to get Burns or Snell or one of those other top guys, my mind immediately went to Walker Buehler. Like that seems like Jack Flaherty from last year. And I was wrong, very wrong. I will eat that for sure. I will say though, I was a big Yusei Kikuchi fan, so I guess if you want to get technical, he would probably be the guy that I would have liked to have signed instead of Walker Buehler, but right. I wouldn't have really loved that contract that they gave out. I loved it for the Angels because they were aggressive on AAV, short term on years, but I wouldn't have liked the Sox to have given him 60 mil for 3 years or 56 mil for 3 years or something like that. Not a huge fan of that.
Yeah.
Kind of funny in hindsight, the Flaherty Kikuchi offseason that got floated by I think it was Jim Bowden at like the very beginning would have been like unironically not a horrible offseason. And everyone was like, of course these cheap bastards would go for Flaherty and Kikuchi. It's like they're both having fairly decent years. Kikuchi just lit you up for what 12 Ks. I think he's gonna have a really good year. If the Red Sox are buyers, I would honestly not hate trying to poach him from the Angels. 2.79 ERA, 9 Ks per 9, starting to creep back up. Just saying. Anyway, We basically didn't talk at all about game 2, even though like Jack gave the rundown, but it was fun. We got a couple pesky pull home runs this series. Willier hit one, and he like really. I think he's looked really good since coming off the injured list. I don't know if maybe that oblique was kind of lingering for a bit for him, or if it's just gave him a nice mental reset to like not have have to play every single day while he was struggling. He's hitting like 170 for like 3 weeks, but he's looked really good since coming off the injured list. Roman got his first 3-hit game, which was nice. It's almost like he's good. I don't know. I should have kept more receipts when he was like 3 for 36 and people were like, this guy sucks. Cut him, send him down. He's starting to find some green, which is nice. And, his average is what, like 190 at this point?
Yeah. Are you surprised he's in right field as much as he is? I mean, I know Duran's in left, but I just don't see him as a full-time right fielder. I just don't,
I don't know, but defensively, he's like really holding up out there.
Yeah, I just figured. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it really depends on what the deal is.
That one throw home today, I was like, oh, I wish it was Willier. I feel like that would have been an out with Willier, and it was not with Anthony. But he hasn't been like bad by any means. But
no, he had, what was the first? Was it the second or third game? He had that misplay where he kind of tried to field the ball to him and it got by him.
Was that his debut?
Was it the debut? Yeah, it was like that was the big gap that sticks out in my head. But other than that, I don't think he's been awful. I don't think he's been, Gold Glove caliber, but he hasn't hurt himself. I'm just kind of surprised because right field is just so difficult to play. You really got to be a center fielder. Well, you should be anyway if you want to not, look ridiculous out there. They can't put him in left field, obviously, because of Duran right now, unless Duran has a day off.
Yeah, and he's only played 8 innings in left field so far as a major leaguer, and that's 94 and a third out there in right. So he's been 2 outs above average, 2 defensive runs saved so far. I mean, he's been good out there. Not bad for a DH, huh, Tony Maz?
Does that give you guys any inclination as far as maybe they view trading Abreu instead of Duran, or it really does nothing? It's don't look into it. It just is what it is.
It's definitely possible. I really just hope not, because I prefer the Gold Glove guy who's younger and hits home runs.
Oh, come on. But speed is sexy, and Duran's the leader of the team, and he goes on Section 10, I mean, like, he's the only celebrity we got now on the team, I mean, come on. Why would you ever trade a guy who, will probably never, ever be a 10-WAR player the rest of his career, like, why would you sell high on a guy who people like and he's young? Though that's just, that's ridiculous, Jack.
I really don't know. Like, I wish I could really figure it out. I mean, if they put Duran in right field, that would probably be a disaster. So I remember being like blown away because they put him in right field, I think, for like 2 innings in the first series of the year. And I was like, that's odd. They have not done that again. I think it's just because Duran's still here and they'll move Roman to left when Duran is not still here.
So it's like about a month, do you think? What's the countdown? Do we have a countdown yet?
Yeah, I mean, what? The deadline's in 32 days.
Okay.
So I'll set the over-under at 19.5.
Okay, I said Michael King, but what do you guys want to do? Where's he going? What do you feel? What are you hearing? Jack, you talk to people at the park. You like to drop scoops and not get credit for it. What do you hear?
I mean, the thing that does kind of make sense in my brain could be Philadelphia. I don't know what you could actually get because people on Twitter are like, you could get Andrew Painter. No, you can't. You cannot get Andrew Painter. If you can, Dave is so drunk, and you please get that paperwork in before he thinks about it, because you're not getting Andrew Painter. But I think Philadelphia could make sense fit-wise. I mean, the Padres do make sense fit-wise, but if they're buying, I don't know if they move a guy like Cease or King in a buying type.
Yeah, I just looked at King because I know that King he's got next year, I think it's an option or something, and then he's a free agent, and then I think that Duran's got He's got the deal this year and 2 more arbitration years after this.
His deal he signed this year takes care of next year, so they don't have to worry about arbitration next winter. But yeah, then he's got 1 more arb year.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I think it's increasingly clear that Jarren is the correct option from a baseball perspective, and potentially even from a above baseball perspective. And it's just like, I don't know what it's going to be, and if, clearly interpersonal stuff plays into how Breslow makes decisions, and I don't know what his relationship with Duran is like, because obviously they went to arbitration, but then they settled and got the multi-year thing done. So I don't know where those two stand, because clearly, obviously, that was the biggest factor in the Devers decision. I don't know. I think you should honestly try and do it as soon as possible, because you'd get more and it would clear up the situations. And obviously, yeah, it leaves room for if Willier got re-injured or something happened to Cedon or to Roman, and then it's like, oh, what do we do now? But you have Rob, and you do have you have a million utility guys who you can stick out there, and Massa is allegedly going to be a thing.
They do plan on him playing left field in his rehab.
He's going to be playing left on Tuesday,
Which
allegedly.
He can do. I mean, he's not.
No, he's not that bad.
It was okay. Like, you got Jordan. I mean, you remember Manny. You remember. I hate to break it. I
remember Hanley.
People, the Hall of Famer Jim Rice had a good arm, but he could not really have much range. Yastrzemski was a great outfielder. Williams didn't have a ton of range. He had a good arm. Historically, left fielders at Fenway were not glove first guys. It just wasn't a thing. Like when Benintendi was out there and before he, jumped the shark career wise, it was like, wow, he's making amazing plays, because left fielders typically didn't do that. I remember Tyler O'Neill, it's like he's a gold glove caliber left fielder, which is like hilarious to say. They're like a gold glove caliber left fielder. It's like if you were good, you'd be playing right field or center, wouldn't you be?
Yeah, and then they did stick him out there, and he, as most guys when they come to Boston, sucked defensively. But yeah, I think Philly's probably the best fit for Jarren as well. As far as return goes, I mean, people keep pointing at Painter. I think Mick Abel makes a lot more sense if we're talking young pitcher. I don't think I really don't think that's going to happen. I just don't see it being in the best interest of Philly. Another team that I think would be a pretty interesting fit, just because they've been playing this dude in center field a lot for no real reason. Well, I mean, other than just to get his bat in the lineup. I think the Mets are a sneaky decent play here. I think he would actually fit really well with the kind of environment at Citi Field, like the way he plays, the energy, like similar to Javi Baez in a way. Like he got to Citi Field, and he went like nuclear for them, and they loved him in Queens.
So what's the return then? Who comes from the Mets to the Sox?
I don't really know. I mean, again, it's tough because how much do other teams value Duran? The Red Sox apparently are still asking for like the moon for him, and I don't think that's ever gonna be available to them. As far as like prospects wise, I really like Jonah Tong. I think he's their number 4 prospect. He's a right-handed pitcher. That'd be nice. It'd be nice to have another young arm in the mix. As far as bats go, nothing really screams to me. I mean, you don't really want to get another outfielder. Would they be willing to give you Acuna? I doubt it. Do you even really want Acuna? Is he just like maybe a right-handed version of David Hamilton? I don't know.
Swap to the Braves for the better Acuna.
Yeah, trade him.
They could use a left fielder. They're playing Verdugo.
That is true. They are playing Verdugo. But yeah, no, I think the NL East is probably where you want to look. Could you maybe? I mean, does it have to be a buyer too that you're selling him, that you're trading him to? Like, could another team just like Jarren Duran? Like we see it in the NBA all the time. Teams that are not very good, like maybe they think that their window to win is 2026, 2027. And do they see an opportunity to trade for Jarren Duran now before they get into the offseason and more teams are like looking for outfielders, maybe not landing one in free agency? So I don't know. I think as far as fits go, you're probably looking at the Mets or the Phillies. And, that's basically it. I don't think the Padres make really any sense unless you really want Luis Arise, and I just no. I'm good. We're getting Yoshida back. Like I don't need Luis Arise.
That's the new Ben Simmons LeBron.
Oh, we got Yoshida. We're good. You can go now. But like Arise hasn't even been very good this year either. So I don't know. Seattle makes some sense too, I guess, because they're always looking for bats. But has Duran?
You want Castillo? You want Castillo bad, don't you? You get a
No.
Castillo in your pants. Yeah, you do. That's who you want. I can tell.
It's not that. I want Harry Ford. That's who I want.
All right.
There is zero path to the majors for him unless Cal Raleigh like falls off a skyscraper or something. That's basically the only way that he'll.
Do you think he is a catcher long term? Because I'm seeing
they can move him to first base or something, and then Henry Ford.
Is he like 5'4"? He's a little dude. He's a small guy. I don't.
He's probably like 5'11", towers over Jordan. He's like, yeah, he's a midget.
I'm 6 feet, bro.
Yeah, he's 5'10".
I'm taller than him. Okay. That would have been kind of ironic if he was like 6'3" and I'm just being a dick for no reason.
With big shoes.
He's tiny. He's like 6'7". He's taller than like Henry Davis. Yeah, I want Harry Ford though. That's my guy. If they go the Seattle route, you're not getting any pitchers from them. They've made that abundantly clear. But they have good bats that I would take back.
That's the way to do it. You find a guy who's roadblocked and you try and figure it out, because you're right. I mean, he's just not gonna, as long as Raleigh's a catcher, you're not going to move off that. It's I like that. Pitching, I thought, to me, just made sense because it's a need for the team. But I think it's, when you're in the draft, it's like, do you take team need or do you take the best player? You always take the best player. That's what any GM will tell you in a draft. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I still, like, as much as I love Carlos Narvaez, like, I don't really feel comfortable going into 2026 being like, that's our catcher. Like, I would love. No, it's not that. It's
you realize that he's just playing out of his ass. He's got the Sandy Leone tequila he's drinking or something. I mean, he's just like, holy shit. Nobody saw him being this good. It's like Garrett Whitlock 2.0. Thanks a lot, Yankees. Like, yeah, we all knew this was going to happen. Yeah, bullshit. You had no clue that he was going to be this good. Nobody did.
Yeah, I didn't. It's not even that. It's just like we've been burned so many times with flashes in the pan. I just want to have an insurance policy in case Narvaez is like a 570 OPS guy next year. Like we got good years offensively out of Christian Vasquez, and Vasquez was a great starting catcher for the Red Sox for half a decade, a little bit more than that. I would have no problem with that, but I would like to have a second catcher that's good, and if Narvaez is bad, then you can have that guy be the catcher again next year, which is why
but Wong has an RBI now.
Yeah,
he does.
What you're saying is, George, you're not confident with the depth we have in the minors right now at the catching level?
No, I'm not very confident in Blake Sable or Sebi Zavala or Mark Colesbury or Ronald Rosario in AA. Yeah. Like, I'm not. No. Like, I'm sure our minor league guys have a higher outlook on guys like Ronald Rosario than I do, but like the only reason I know that he's in the organization is because they mentioned that he caught the combined no-hitter last week. Like, that's the only reason I know who Ronald Rosario is. It's the same reason the only reason I knew why knew Eli Marrero was a guy too, because he caught like 4 no-hitters with Greenville.
As awful as our catching is right now, it still blows my mind every time they mention that Kenley Jensen was a catcher. Like, how is he ever that able to just bend over and like catch a baseball? Like,
apparently he wasn't. That's why he took up pitching. A good business decision for him, if I do say
very much so. Yeah,
but he might be catcher number 3 if he were on the Red Sox.
He probably was the emergency catcher when he was on the roster, but he was like number 4. He's like, I'll do what's team first, unlike Devers. I'll do what's team first. Jensen was saying that he would do team first instead of Devers. Devers like, I'm not catching.
Well, if that team is the Dodgers, he'd be team first.
Oh, if he could catch for the Dodgers, he'd be catching tonight.
It's so true. I remember that time. Didn't he hit like an RBI double for them, like one of his last couple years there, like back when pitchers still hit? I remember, and I'm like, this motherfucker. Well, this dude's like Babe Ruth for them. He was Shohei Ohtani before Shohei Ohtani for the Dodgers,
or Bartolo Colon before Bartolo Colon was hitting bombs.
Yes,
that was epic.
That is true. That is true. But yeah, no, Red Sox win game 2 15-1.
I like that.
Great
All
summary
this
there,
show
Jordan.
was talking about Walker Buehler.
Well, we did talk about Walker Buehler,
Yeah.
but I mean, do we want to talk more about him?
Not really, but
Yeah.
something I want to ask you guys. Did you see the stat? I don't know if you guys watch the game on TV or you're a dinosaur like me, listen to the game on the radio, whatever you did. Did you see his ERA by inning? It's like dog shit first inning. Was it second inning 450, third inning 0, fifth inning was like 6, sixth inning was like 0. It was crazy.
Yeah, and the fourth inning was like 30. The fourth inning was the worst of the bunch.
Yeah, and then he gave up 2 home runs in the first inning, but then didn't he have like 35 pitches by the fourth inning? It was crazy. Yeah, there was no rhyme, and he was throw. What did he throw today? 96, 97 miles an hour.
He had 45 pitches, I think, with 2 outs in the fourth.
Yeah. So like you're like he was in it. Now it didn't go the way the Red Sox wanted to, but like most, whether it was Greg Maddux or whoever, you get to him in the first inning. If you can get to him in the first inning, that's when you score. After that, they lock in. That's any really good pitcher. So he only gave 2 in the first. They were in it and they fought a little bit and they had like a chance, and it just but his ERA was just nuts as far as like inning by inning. I couldn't believe that stat.
Yeah, it's really sad. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, his ERA in the first is 9.69. This is entering play today. 9.69 in the first. It's 4.85 in the second. It is 0.79 in the third. It is 13.94 in the fourth. And then 5, 6, 7. It's 3.52 those last 3 innings. It's pretty remarkable how bad he has been. And we'll throw my microphone out. That's how bad he's been.
Can't take it anymore.
I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna start throwing stuff. I feel horrible for the dude too. Like he is fast approaching like Corey Kluber level of bad 1-year deal. I didn't think that was possible. He's been worse than Garrett Richards.
As a person and a player.
As a person? Has he been
I heard that like the teams, I heard the players didn't like him.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that a couple times, yeah.
From where?
Anonymous people on Twitter, people that I sit with at the games, like, Garrett Richards, he was a dink, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, Richards was a shitty person? Oh, that's not shocking.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Buehler.
Oh, Buehler? No. I don't know anybody that said anything negative about him. I mean, I was buttering up as much as possible. I was hoping to have his mom on for the, the Mother's Day episode, but, of course, I dropped the ball on that one. That's my fault. I apologize. But, no, but I don't know anybody that said anything bad about him personally, no.
Yeah. I saw one person tweet that like, oh, there's been stories about him in the clubhouse. I'm like, what? I've never heard anything negative about Walker Buehler as a dude.
I think that was Devers was talking shit about him. That's why they traded him.
It probably was Raffy.
It was probably something petty like that.
Probably. Buehler probably suggested that he'd play first base, and Devers took it as a slight against his stature and hated Walker Buehler. So he started talking shit. But yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy because the way the first inning went, it was obviously terrible. Like, you gave up 2 bombs in the first on back-to-back pitches. Like, that's ass. Never gonna pretend it's not.
Is it location though, Jordan? I mean, the velocity's there. They said the breaking balls they're moving. He's got movement on his pitches. It's really just location, right? Did you notice? I don't know, Jack. I know you watch the games too. Is Navarez setting up inside and then it's going outside and then getting hit, or is it just like what? Somebody smarter than me is going to answer this question for me, because it seems like his stuff is there. It's just not executed.
Yeah, he has no location or feel for it right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's anything that can be done from a catching perspective or what's going on, but it's not fun right now.
I just watched that home run he gave up to the pitch he threw to Vladdy for the home run. That is in the running for worst pitch of all time. It was just a 91-mile-an-hour cutter piped. It was right down the chute. Like, think of the worst pitch you could possibly throw Vladdy, which is the Isaiah Campbell slider from last year. It's like slightly better than that. It's like slightly less dog shit a pitch. So his ERA through 14 starts is 6.45. Now, I saw something that there's a $500,000 bonus in his contract for certain number of starts. I think 20 is the first kicker. I think you could. I mean, I think you can get away with just stuffing him in the bullpen, right? So it's at $500,000 each for 20, 22, 24, 26, and 28 starts. I love how if he got to 30, they're just like, sorry, you're not getting any more money. But like he's at 14 starts now. 6 starts would put us into like mid-August. That would get us to 20. I would just stuff him in the bullpen and see if he like they did with Corey Kluber. And if he's got nothing to give you there, then sayonara, like truly. And like, or so there's the second option, or there's really 3 options. There's that one. The second one, keep pitching him every 5th day. Hope you catch lightning in a bottle with him, and then you can ship him out of here at the deadline. And then there's number 4, and that's just getting rid of him altogether. Or sorry, option 3 is getting rid of him altogether. There's not a 4th option.
Well, it's a good thing it's not appearances because I remember back in the 90s, they had that guy, Steve Avery, who was like the cast off, the number 5 guy in the Braves rotation that the Red Sox got as a free agent. And he had a clause in his contract, just like you talked about, Joe, but it was appearances. And Jimmy Williams was like throwing his middle fingers up to like the ownership. He'd use him as a pinch runner just to get an appearance so that he got the kicker in his contract. It was so petty.
Sick.
But he was like, you know what? He's a good runner. He's one of the fastest guys on the team. He's like, really, Jimmy? Really? Like, because he had to get 30 appearances, and it was very vague. His agent was a genius. The Red Sox didn't catch it because they didn't know their ass from their elbow back then. And it was like he had like 14 or 15 starts, and his ERA was like around 5. And Jimmy's like, I'll get you the money. I'll get you the bonus. And they just used the pinch runner. It was hilarious.
That's a great manager right there.
Yeah.
That's a great manager right there. It's like the week 17 like quarterback force feeding guys receptions. Love that. It's kind of crazy that his mutual option next year is for $25 million. I wonder if the Red Sox will accept that, especially considering the buyout is $3 million. Goodbye, Walker Buehler.
We have to check the Liverpool roster to see what their allocations is for loans and players, and we'll see if the money works.
Yeah, I mean that's a good reallocation of Devers' money, right? 25 mil to Walker Buehler, and then $5 million to Willie Castro. welcome to the 2026 Red Sox. Doesn't Giolito also have like a sneaky option in his deal where it's like also kind of like it could be a vesting option? I don't know. I thought I remember reading that where like he's like got an option for 2026.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind him back now at all.
Option.
Conditional club option for $14 million. If becomes $19 million mutual option if he reaches 140 innings this year. Yeah. So it's a club option for 14 mil. So you could also, if Giolito is not traded, he'll probably be back too.
Yeah, I have no problem with that at all.
Yeah,
I don't either at this point. I mean, the rest of the season still obviously in front of us here. Like he could completely crater for all we know, but yeah, at 14 mil, I'm cool with him. But then that is one less guy you can add to your rotation next year. So maybe they just got to aim high instead of going after multiple starters. You go like Crochet.
You don't think it's enough? You don't think it's enough money with the Buehler money and the half whatever's left of the Devers money to get at least 1 or 2? You think that's a 1 and then somebody else, and then like you put an offensive player, right?
Well, I'm thinking like rotation, like with the rotation, they like I went through the list of players that are available, or the list of players that are in house. Like maybe Kyle Harrison starts the year in AAA, Richard Fitz, Hunter Dobbins, all 3 of them start the year in AAA.
Did we lose Jordan?
You lost me for a second. Am I back?
Oh, there you go. You're back.
Am I back? Okay.
You're back.
So pretend all the guys on the periphery of the rotation are back or in AAA. Harrison, Fitz, and Dobbins.
Mm-hmm.
You still have Crochet, obviously, Bello, Giolito, if his options picked up, Patrick Sandoval, Cutter Crawford, and Tanner Houck.
Okay.
So there's 6. Now, I would imagine somebody gets jettisoned off the island, and if I had to guess, it'd be Houck. Take what you can for him. You still got Cutter. You could maybe stick him in the bullpen.
Yeah.
you're looking at one starter. You
Okay.
could realistically bring in. Now, I would aim very high, and
Yeah.
I would go for Michael King, Dylan Cease, Framber Valdez, one of those guys. And then
Mhm.
if you miss on all three, then maybe go to Zach Gallen and see if you can
Okay.
bring him back to life.
All right.
But yeah, there's not a lot of room for more starters,
Okay.
unfortunately.
No, that's fine. Yeah, but I think though, if you with that returning cast, I mean, we said this beginning of the season. If you add what would you consider them? A 2, a solid 2, not even a 1A, but like a 2 or maybe I think that's enough to, with a decent offense,
Yeah, I mean, having that number 2 makes the rest of the rotation's life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like that was the big thing with trading Devers that I think a lot of people, when they just saw the personality getting dealt, missed. You know how much harder it is for Jarren Duran to hit leadoff with Abraham Toro hitting second instead of Raffy Devers?
right?
Like, as good as Toro's been, that is a massive downgrade in the 2-hole. And then even, you want to go to Willier in the 4-hole, him hitting there, like he's now probably the most feared hitter in the lineup with like you play the whole pedigree game. I mean, it's actually probably Roman Anthony now. That's sad. Like the same thing goes for the rotation. Like you have Crochet, but if you have Crochet and 4 threes, not very good. You have Crochet at 2 and 3 threes. That's a damn good rotation.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully they land that too. And I hope it's Michael King. That's my guy. That's my guy.
Guy I
That's
want.
what I want badly. But if I won't cry if it's Dylan Cease. I'll even take Framber Valdez. Like I'm
You'll
not
deal.
picky.
You'll settle.
I'll settle for Framber Valdez. And if so help me God, it's Zach Gallen, I will live with it. I will live with it. I won't love it, but I will live with it. If it ends up being like Merrill Kelly, I might throw up. Because then it's like Crochet and 4 number 3s again, and this one's like 34 years old, 35 years old. We'll see. I still at this point I don't think I could in good conscience buy. It's like the 2022 deadline right now where they're at.
Yeah. Jordan, you got that graphic I sent you about the upcoming pitching? I know you said you might want to go tomorrow, and you were a little
Yeah, I made sure to put him in the private chat so it's up there. I already bought tickets for the game. I thought I got baited when I looked at the pitching matchups this morning and saw Burns versus TBD. I'm like, am I going to a Richard Fitz start? Like, I'll go to watch Chase Burns pitch, but I was really going to watch Burns versus Crochet. Like that's the type of shit you go.
You don't want to see
your random-
Bernardino as an opener?
I love Bernie, but no. I love him, but no.
Okay.
Only if Pavetta comes in after.
Yeah, Bernie to Pavetta was like legitimately a Cy Young caliber tandem.
Olympic relay team.
It was so good.
That was the number 2 they needed. Was the Bernie to Pavetta.
The number 2 we didn't deserve, but we needed it all along. Yeah. But yeah. No. Any final thoughts on the series? Anybody got their like overarching takes of where they think the team, how they feel about the team going forward? Nah.
No.
No.
I've got nothing.
41 and 44.
Yep.
Tito's back this week.
Woohoo!
Get to have there's 4 Red Sox World Championships? No, 3 Red Sox World Championships between the 2 managers. Well, I guess 4 if you want to count Cora's in 07 as well.
Well, Breslow, is that a double count? Do you
No.
Okay.
No, we don't count Breslow. Don't trade Devers and maybe we'll count
he's
him.
a player's GM president, but he's not a suit, he's a player guy.
That interview today was awesome with the most like softball questions ever.
Like that?
About,
what color
how
is
do
the
you
sky?
get guys
Do you like water? Is it wet?
Yeah, it was like, is it easier to trade for guys closer to the deadline or further from the deadline? It's like, what are we doing here?
My favorite part was asking him questions he's already answered like 8 times. So he's had plenty of opportunities to like practice how he wants to answer it. It's like, oh, obviously trading Devers wasn't a difficult decision, right? Or sorry, was a difficult decision, right? And he's like, yeah. Is there ever a good time to trade him? I don't know, buddy. You fucking did it. Like,
Well, he's not afraid to trade your favorite player.
he's not. He definitely isn't. I'm terrified. My favorite player is Zach Kelly, who I hope is okay. He did leave game 3 with an injury. My favorite
player is
player,
Walker Buehler.
I am the biggest fan of Josh Winkowski. I love him. I'm gonna buy his jersey when I go to Fenway on Monday. Tomorrow. I'm gonna buy it. So don't you dare trade Josh Winkowski, Craig. Don't you fucking dare. Don't trade Jarren Duran. Don't trade Jarren Duran. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please trade Wilyer Abreu. We're gonna play the both sides of the jinx here. I hope he didn't take that one seriously. But yeah. So upcoming series against the Cincinnati Reds, who have been pretty good this year. They are above 500 last I checked, which was a couple of days ago. So I don't think that was mathematically possible for them to fall under in these last 2 days. Some good pitching matchups in this series. The one that should be like flexed into a standalone game, in my opinion, Chase Burns in his second MLB start against Garrett Crochet. That is going to be cinema. I cannot wait to go watch it live. Burns went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned against the Yankees, struck out 8, including 5 in a row. Did give up a home run on that start. Crochet's got a 2.06 ERA, which I think should have some stat corrections to lower it. Still don't think he should have an earned run in that start against the Mariners. Game 2, we got Brady Singer, 4.31 ERA. I keep forgetting he's on the Reds. Keep forgetting about that Singer for India swap against Richard Fitz, who was so-so against the Angels. Really just his coveted 2 straight hanging sliders that got hit out. And then Nick Martinez, who took a no-hitter into the 9th inning, was it? Or was it the 8th?
I think it was the 8th.
It was the 8th, and they gave up a wall ball to Elias Diaz, who like pimped it, even though they were down by 9, and it only ended up being a single. Against Brayan Bello, who's got a 3.41 ERA. Martinez is 4.12. I will start with you, Brian. How do you think the series is going to go for the Sox?
Sorry, guys. I got some stuff going on here at the house.
Oh, no worries.
But I don't know. I mean, yeah, no. You asked me about what I think about the series.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody just walked by. I don't know. I mean, I want to gonna say that they'll take majority of the games of the series, but I mean, knowing the Red Sox, they'll screw it up. They're gonna screw it up. That's what they do.
So you think 1 and 2? Yeah.
Yeah, probably 1 and 2. Yeah.
I'll give mine, and then I'll let Jack round us out here. So I actually am optimistic about the series. I think they will take 2 out of 3. I think they'll lose the middle game of this 3-game set. I think Crochet gets the win in game 1. I think Bello gets the win in game 3. I'm not really scared of Nick Martinez. I used air quotes to those listening. And then as good as Chase Burns is, Crochet's just better. That middle game, though, I'm not like Ellie's going to hit one past the red seat off Richard Fitz. It's just going to happen. It's a foregone conclusion. I will be returning to sports betting just for that game. But I do think the Sox take 2 out of 3. Jack, take us home.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. I think I'm going to go. Yeah, I feel weird being optimistic about a series with this team. But I think when you have Crochet going and then Bello is a night game on Wednesday, so I don't really have to, even though day game Bello has been less of a disaster as of late, which has been nice. And yeah, they're going to get smoked on Tuesday, and I'll be watching anyway, because, I'll trick myself into thinking maybe good things will happen, but they're going to lose by 7. But yeah, I don't fear Nick Martinez. I'm not going to pick against a Crochet start unless it's like Skeens or Scooble. And I feel solid. I think you can go 2-1 in this series, and then you're going to DC for the 4th of July. Maybe try and pick up some momentum. I don't know with this team.
Dave Bello has a 3.44 ERA this year. That is actually
he's been much better. And I think like his first one was like really bad as usual. And he's
the Braves one.
Yeah. So yeah, he's kind of been less atrocious, which is good.
That is definitely good. I'm with you though. Like I sat down in my living room this afternoon to watch game 3 of the series thinking, "Hey, maybe 15-1, maybe they caught a spark." Very wrong.
Caught a spark,
Very
all
wrong.
right.
They caught Yeah, seriously. But yeah. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up? I know we're at an hour and a half. All right. Sweet. So again, yeah, thanks to everybody who listened to this episode of the Pesky Report. Again, episode 489, presented by Beyond the Monster. If you wouldn't mind leaving a review, a rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, like, subscribe to YouTube, leave a comment, however you may feel inclined to let us know how we're doing, what you think of us. That would be greatly appreciated. Follow us on Twitter at the Pesky Report. For Brian and Jack, I'm Jordan. Until next time, peace out and go Sox.